Are you wondering what body language actually makes younger women notice you in all the right ways? Gentlemen, what I'm about to share might surprise you. Today, I'm revealing 8 specific body language moves that trigger attraction in younger women. And here's the thing, some are counterintuitive, but they're all backed by research. The best part? Your age gives you natural advantages younger guys simply don't have. First, the confident lean back. Have you noticed how younger guys tend to lean forward, almost desperately seeking attention? They're hunched over the bar, leaning into every conversation, like their life depends on it. Now contrast that with what I'm about to teach you. According to body language experts, one of the most powerful attraction signals you can send is the confident lean back. And gentlemen, this is where your age becomes your superpower. So what exactly is the confident lean back? Picture this. You're sitting at a bar or restaurant, and instead of leaning forward with your elbows on the table, you're sitting back in your chair. Your shoulders are relaxed, your posture is open, and you're taking up space without apology. Studies on power dynamics show that people in positions of authority naturally adopt more expansive, relaxed postures. Psychologists call this postural confidence, and research indicates that others perceive individuals with open, relaxed body positioning as having higher status and greater self-assurance. Here's the psychology behind why this works. When you lean forward, you're literally pushing your energy towards someone. You're chasing, you're seeking approval. But when you lean back, you create what experts call pull energy rather than push energy. You're not desperately trying to close the gap. You're comfortable right where you are. This communicates to her subconscious mind that you're a man who doesn't need validation. And trust me, that's incredibly attractive. Now here's where your age gives you an unfair advantage. Younger men are full of anxious energy and eagerness. They haven't lived enough life to develop that natural calm that comes with experience. But you've been through enough to know that one conversation, one interaction, one woman isn't going to make or break your world. That life experience translates into authentic postural confidence. You're not faking the lean back. It's a natural expression of your maturity. And gentlemen, I know some of you worry that you're not exciting enough compared to younger guys. But here's the truth. Excitement fades, but presence is magnetic. The confident lean back shows presence. So how do you put this into practice? Whether you're at a bar, a restaurant, or any social setting, consciously check your posture during conversations. Pull your shoulders back, breathe naturally from your diaphragm, and claim your space. Let your arms rest on the chair or table, not clutched close to your body. Now, there's a crucial distinction here. This isn't slouching. Slouching signals disinterest or laziness. The confident lean back is relaxed but engaged. Your posture says, I'm comfortable, I'm here, and I'm paying attention, but I'm not chasing you. Now that you understand postural power, let's talk about what to do with your hands, because this next move amplifies everything we just discussed. Second, deliberate hand gestures. Ever wonder why some men command attention when they speak while others get ignored? It's not just about what you're saying, it's about how your hands are saying it. Communication studies show that hand gestures significantly impact persuasion and how competent others perceive you to be. And here's what's fascinating. Research reveals that purposeful, controlled hand movements signal authority and confidence, while nervous, rapid gestures broadcast insecurity. Gentlemen, this is another area where your maturity gives you a massive edge. Let's break down what deliberate hand gestures actually look like. Think about the difference between a man who's fidgeting, tapping his fingers, adjusting his collar, playing with his phone, and a man who uses his hands with intention. When you make a point, your hands move slowly and purposefully to emphasize what you're saying. Psychologists have found that taking your time with physical expression creates an impression of thoughtfulness and control. Picture open palm gestures when you're explaining something, or measured pointing when you're making an important point. You're expressive, yes, but you're not frantic. Every movement has a reason. Here's the psychology behind it. When you rush your movements, you're sending a signal that you're anxious, that you're not sure if people will keep listening, so you'd better talk fast and move faster. But when you slow down, when you let your hands move deliberately, you're communicating something powerful. I know you're listening because what I have to say is worth hearing. That's the energy of a man who's lived enough life to know his value. And this is exactly where younger men consistently fail. They're all nervous energy and rushed movements because they haven't developed the inner calm that comes with experience. They're fidgeting, they're tapping, they're constantly adjusting something. But your life experience has taught you that there's no need to rush. Younger women are absolutely starved for this grounded presence. When they're surrounded by guys their own age who can't sit still for 5 minutes, your deliberate, measured hand gestures make you stand out like a lighthouse in a storm. So how do you practice this? Start by consciously slowing down your hand movements by about 30%. When you're making a point in conversation, use open palm gestures. They signal honesty and openness. When you're telling a story, let your hands emphasize the important moments, but don't let them become the distraction. And here's what to avoid. Hiding your hands in your pockets signals you're uncomfortable. Crossing your arms creates a barrier. Nervous tapping screams anxiety. Keep your hands visible, keep them purposeful, and keep them slow. Your hands are talking, but so are your eyes. Let's discuss the power of sustained eye contact and why younger women find it absolutely magnetic. Third, sustained eye contact. Can you hold eye contact for 3 to 4 seconds without looking away nervously? Be honest with yourself, because this is where most men, especially younger ones, completely fall apart. Studies on eye contact and attraction consistently show that sustained visual connection builds both trust and romantic interest. Research on what psychologists call the intimacy of gaze reveals something powerful. When two people hold eye contact, they experience increased feelings of closeness and attraction. And here's the kicker. Experts have found that mutual gaze actually triggers bonding on a neurological level. Gentlemen, this is your secret weapon. Now, let's be clear about what sustained eye contact actually means, because there's a crucial difference between this and staring. Staring is intense, unblinking, and honestly, it's creepy. Sustained eye contact, on the other hand, follows what I call the 3 to 5 second rule. You hold her gaze for 3 to 5 seconds, maintaining a relaxed, confident expression. Then you break naturally. Maybe you glance down briefly or look away as you laugh, and then you come back. This creates intimacy without intensity. It shows confidence without aggression. And when you combine it with a slight smile, what I call the smile and hold technique, you're communicating warmth and interest simultaneously. Here's where your age becomes an unfair advantage. Younger men break eye contact constantly, and do you know why? Insecurity and distraction. They're insecure about holding the gaze because they haven't developed the emotional maturity to be comfortable with intimacy. Or they're distracted, checking their phones, looking around the room, unable to stay present. But your life experience has given you something they simply don't have yet. The ability to be fully present with another person. When you look into a younger woman's eyes and hold that gaze, you're giving her something incredibly rare in her generation. The feeling of being truly seen and understood. Trust me, she's craving that from someone. So how do you practice this? Start with the basic rhythm. Hold eye contact for 3 to 5 seconds, smile slightly, take a brief break by looking down or to the side, and then return to her eyes. As the conversation progresses and you're feeling more flirtatious, you can increase the intensity slightly and try the triangle technique. Look at her left eye, then her right eye, then briefly at her lips, then back to her eyes. This subtle shift amps up the romantic tension. But here's what not to do. Don't stare intensely without breaking. That's uncomfortable. And don't look down or away too quickly. That signals nervousness or shame. Find that confident middle ground. Eye contact opens the door, but here's what keeps her attention. And this next body language move might just be the most powerful of all. Fourth, the protective palm. What if I told you one simple touch gesture can activate her biological attraction response? I'm talking about the protective palm. And gentlemen, this move is backed by some serious science. Evolutionary psychologists explain that protective behaviors trigger deep-seated attraction responses in women. Studies on touch have shown that brief, appropriate physical contact releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, and research consistently demonstrates that women respond positively to men who can offer a sense of safety and leadership. This is primal stuff, and it's incredibly powerful. So what exactly is the protective palm? Picture this. You're walking with her through a crowded venue, and you gently place your hand on her lower back to guide her through the crowd. Or you're navigating a busy sidewalk, and you lightly touch her shoulder to steer her away from someone rushing past. It's a light, guiding hand, not grabbing, not clutching, just a brief touch that says, "I've got you." The psychology here is profound. This gesture triggers her safety response while simultaneously demonstrating masculine leadership. You're not asking permission, but you're also not being aggressive. You're simply being present and protective in a moment that calls for it. Now, timing and appropriateness are absolutely critical here. This gesture should never feel forced. It has to emerge naturally from the situation. You're guiding her through a doorway. You're protecting her space in a crowded bar. You're helping her navigate an uneven surface. These are moments where the protective palm makes perfect sense and feels completely organic. And here's where your age gives you yet another advantage. When a younger guy tries this move, it can come across as presumptuous or try hard because he hasn't established the natural authority that makes it feel appropriate. But you? The confidence and maturity that comes with your age makes this gesture feel completely natural. Younger women respond to protective energy, not possessive, not controlling, but genuinely protective. And the natural authority you've developed over the years allows you to offer that in a way that feels right. While younger men are either too hesitant to touch at all or too eager and inappropriate, you're operating in that perfect middle ground. Here's how to execute it properly. Keep it brief, 2 to 3 seconds maximum. Use light pressure, just enough to guide, not to control. Be confident but gentle, and critically, read her response. Does she lean into your touch slightly? That's a green light. Does she create distance or stiffen? That's your cue to dial it back. And avoid these mistakes. Don't linger too long, don't use too much pressure, and don't deploy this in inappropriate moments where it feels out of place. Protection feels good, but so does this next move that shows you're truly present with her in a way younger guys simply can't match. Fifth, turning your full body. When she's talking, are you giving her your full physical attention or just your face? Think about it. Most men turn their head toward someone when they're speaking, but their body stays oriented elsewhere, toward the TV, toward the door, toward other people. Studies on body orientation show that we unconsciously assess how interested someone is in us based on where their entire body is pointed, not just their face. Communication research reveals that physical attention signals are processed at a subconscious level, and psychologists have found a striking difference between partial and full body engagement. When you turn your full body towards someone, you're activating their mirror neurons and building rapport in a way that half attention simply cannot achieve. So, what does full body orientation actually look like? It means your shoulders are facing her, your torso is angled toward her, even your feet are pointed in her direction. Everything about your physical positioning says, "You are what I'm focused on right now." Now contrast that with what most people do. They turn their head to look at someone while their body stays angled toward something else. Maybe they're glancing over their shoulder. Maybe their feet are pointed toward the exit. This sends an unconscious message, "I'm listening, but I'm ready to leave." Full body orientation sends the opposite message, "You are the only person in this room right now." And gentlemen, this is where younger men are failing spectacularly. They're slaves to their phones, constantly distracted, always scanning the room for the next thing. Their attention is fragmented and shallow, but here's where your age becomes a superpower. You have the capacity for deeper presence and focus that comes from life experience. You've lived enough to know that meaningful connection requires undivided attention. When you turn your full body toward a younger woman and give her that complete focus, you're offering her something incredibly rare in her world. Genuine, undistracted attention. She's surrounded by guys her age who can barely maintain focus for 30 seconds. And suddenly, here's a man who makes her feel like the most important person in the room. That's magnetic. Here's how to practice this. When she's speaking, pivot your entire body toward her, not just your head and shoulders. In group settings, you can still remain socially aware. Quick glances to others are fine, but your default position should be oriented toward her. Put your phone away completely. Not on the table, not face down, away. And here's the key. Maintain that body orientation even during conversational pauses. Don't immediately swivel away when she stops talking. Stay present. Presence matters, but so does the pace at which you move. Here's what I mean, and this next point separates the boys from the men. Sixth, slow, controlled movements. Have you noticed how anxious people move quickly while confident people move deliberately? Watch someone who's nervous in a social situation. Their movements are fast, jerky, almost frantic. Now watch someone who genuinely owns their presence in a room. Every movement is measured, intentional, unhurried. Body language research on movement, speed, and status reveals something fascinating. We unconsciously associate slower, more controlled movements with higher social status and confidence. Studies consistently link rushed movements to nervousness and low self-confidence. Psychologists talk about the power of pause, and research on perceived competence shows that movement tempo directly impacts how capable and confident others perceive you to be. So what do slow, controlled movements actually look like in practice? It means taking your time with every physical action. When you reach for your drink, you're not darting your hand out, you're moving deliberately. When you adjust your position in your seat, it's smooth and intentional, not fidgety. When you turn to speak to someone, the movement is fluid and unhurried. Every gesture, every shift, every action communicates the same message. I have all the time in the world. This is the opposite of the hurried, jerky movements that scream nervousness. When you move with this kind of control, you're sending a powerful signal. You're not anxious about what others think. You're not worried about filling silence. You're simply present and comfortable. And gentlemen, this is perhaps the most natural advantage your age gives you. Younger men are operating at a frantic pace because they feel like they need to prove something. They're rushing to impress, hurrying to keep attention, moving quickly because they're afraid that if they slow down, they'll lose the room. But you've lived enough life to know you don't need to prove anything. You've been through enough to understand that the man who's comfortable moving slowly is the man who owns the room. This calm, controlled presence reads as what people call alpha energy. But here's the beautiful part. You're not trying to be anything. You just are. And younger women, who are constantly surrounded by the frantic, approval-seeking energy of guys their age, find this calm presence absolutely magnetic at a subconscious level. Here's how to put this into practice. Consciously reduce your movement speed by about 40%. Notice the moments when you rush. It's almost always anxiety-driven. Apply this principle to everything: drinking, gesturing, walking across a room, sitting down. And here's a powerful technique. Pause for a full second before responding in conversation. That brief pause signals thoughtfulness and control, and it's incredibly attractive. Moving slowly shows confidence, but this next gesture shows something even more powerful, and it's something only you possess. Seventh, the genuine smile with crow's feet. What if your age lines are actually your secret weapon, not something to hide? I know the culture tells you to be self-conscious about every wrinkle, but hear me out. Research on authentic versus fake smiles, what scientists call Duchenne smiles, reveals something powerful. Studies show that genuine smiles engage the orbicularis oculi muscles around the eyes, creating those lines we call crow's feet. And here's what's fascinating. Psychologists have found that emotional authenticity is a major driver of attraction, and research demonstrates that women are exceptionally skilled at detecting fake emotions. Those crow's feet, they're proof you're being real. Let's talk about the science here. When you smile authentically, when you're genuinely amused, genuinely happy, genuinely engaged, the muscles around your eyes contract. You can't fake this. People try, but a fake smile only engages the mouth. A real smile lights up the entire face, and yes, it creates those lines around your eyes. Younger women who've grown up in an era of filters and fake personas can spot inauthenticity from a mile away. But when you smile with your whole face, when those crow's feet appear, you're sending an unmistakable signal. This is real. This is genuine joy. This is a man who's comfortable enough with himself to express authentic emotion. And that kind of authenticity is incredibly magnetic. Now here's where your age becomes not just an advantage, but an unfair advantage. Those smile lines you've developed over years of life, they're physical evidence of a life lived, of genuine emotions felt. Younger men literally cannot replicate this. They can smile, sure, but they don't have the lines that signal decades of authentic emotional expression. And gentlemen, younger women are absolutely craving this authenticity. They're surrounded by guys their age who are constantly performing, constantly trying to maintain some cool, detached persona. When you smile genuinely with your whole face, crow's feet and all, you're offering something they rarely encounter: emotional realness. Those age markers you might have been self-conscious about, they're actually attraction assets. So how do you leverage this? Stop trying to suppress your genuine emotional expression. When something amuses you, laugh fully. When you're enjoying the conversation, smile with your entire face. Not a controlled smirk, but a real smile that reaches your eyes. There's a huge difference between a half smile that stays below the eyes and a genuine smile that engages your whole face. And here's the key. Deploy this during moments of real amusement, not forced moments. The authenticity is what makes it work. Let yourself be real. Your smile shows authenticity, but this final move shows intentionality. And it's what separates men who hope for connection from men who create it. 8. The intentional approach. When you approach her, does your body language say, "I'm hoping you'll talk to me," or "I'm choosing to talk to you"? That distinction makes all the difference in the world. Studies on approach behavior and attraction show that decisiveness is inherently attractive. Research on perceived attractiveness consistently finds that confidence in approach, the willingness to make clear intentions known, significantly increases romantic interest. Psychologists who study selection dynamics in dating have found something crucial. People are attracted to those who choose them deliberately, not those who stumble into their orbit by accident. And findings on communication styles reveal that direct approaches are far more effective than indirect ones, particularly when done with confidence. So what does an intentional approach actually look like? It's a direct path. You see her, you make the decision to approach, and you walk toward her with steady pace and purposeful arrival. There's no circling, no pretending you're heading somewhere else, no manufactured accidental proximity. The psychology here is powerful. Decisive movement communicates confidence and genuine interest. It says, "I saw you, I want to talk to you, and I'm not afraid to make that clear." This frames the entire interaction from the very first moment. Contrast this with the hesitant approach, The guy who hovers nearby, who circles around hoping for an opening, who tries to make it look like he just happened to end up next to her. That approach reeks of fear and uncertainty. And gentlemen, this is where your life experience gives you perhaps your greatest advantage. You've survived rejection before. You've been through enough social situations to know that an approach that doesn't work out isn't the end of the world. This removes the desperate quality from directness. Younger men hover and hesitate because they're operating from fear. Fear of rejection, fear of looking foolish, fear of being too forward. But you can approach directly because you've lived enough to know that confidence and clear intention are respectful, not aggressive. And younger women absolutely appreciate this. They're tired of guys who lack the courage to make their interests clear, who waste their time with ambiguous signals and cowardly indirect approaches. Here's exactly how to execute this. First, decide. Make the choice that you're going to approach her. Second, commit. Don't second guess yourself halfway there. Third, walk with purpose. Not rushing, but not hesitating either. When you arrive, maintain an open stance, offer a slight smile, keep your shoulders relaxed. And here's what not to do. Don't lurk nearby hoping she'll notice you. Don't engineer a fake accidental encounter. Don't apologize with your body language for taking up her time. Own those first 3 seconds of the interaction. So gentlemen, now you know the 8 body language moves that younger women secretly love. These aren't tricks or manipulation. They're authentic expressions of the confidence that comes naturally with your age. Your maturity is your advantage here. If this video helped you see your age as an advantage, hit that like button. Drop a comment telling me which move you're going to focus on first. And subscribe because I share this kind of game-changing advice every week. Want more? Watch my video on 8 signs she's waiting for you to make a move, or check out 10 things younger women notice about older men. Remember, gentlemen, confidence is your birthright at this age. Now you know how to show it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.